Show. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan. On the couch and in the chair, we have three powerhouses. We have Doug Smith from Doug Smith Performance. We have Stefan Beardwood from veteranhouse.ca. And we have Stavros. Stavros, you please pronounce your last name.
Theodorakopoulos.
There you go. Now, Stavros might be the most important person here because he is the accountant.
Far from it.
He is the accountant. So this is exciting. And the reason I have these three gentlemen on is because they were introduced to the channel through a veteran named Vince Campbell. Now, Vince isn't here today, but Vince has been on the show today. He's a terrific guy, and what a connector. Like, three powerhouses. Doug Smith on his own, a former NHL hockey player. He helps our fellow men and women now with trauma situations, but he can explain it, or actually Stefan can explain it terrifically in his book called The Trauma Code. So again, Doug Smith from Doug Smith Performance, Stefan Beardwood from veteranhouse.ca. He's going to tell us all about how his platform helps fellow veteran organizations, right, Stefan? And of course, Stavro, he keeps us everybody in line here. So again, guys, thanks for being on the show today. Why don't we do this? Stefan, why don't you tell us how the relationship, how you met Vince, because I want to include Vince in this conversation because it's very important. And then, because he linked everybody here. So take it away. Tell us about Vince and your relationship.
Yeah, Vince is just one of those amazing guys that, I don't think he knows how to make enemies.
I haven't even met him yet.
And you like him, right?
Yeah, I like him already.
Yeah, so I met Vince a few years ago through Fabian Henry because we were planning and helping to design and set up what would become the song camps. All right, so Fabian had saw a program in the States, wanted to replicate it in Canada, so we just put our minds to, this is how it's going to work. And Vince was one of those guys who had connected in through it. So him and I drove 16 hours across Canada a couple years ago and got to know each other on the way out and got to know each other throughout the week, and we co-wrote a couple songs and did a lot of playing.
So you're both veterans and you both are music lovers.
Yes.
Wow, what a connection.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect friendships, right? So, and then we traveled back and literally stayed in touch and just got to know each other more and more and more. And then a few months back, he reached out. He said, "You remember I was telling you about this?" And next thing I know, there's Jay.
Wow. So how long have you known Vince now?
2-3 years.
And you guys went together to the Veteran for Healing, right?
Three camps.
3 camps you guys have been on. Tell our audience a little bit about the camp, Stefan.
So the camps are it's not a level entry healing tool. It's when you've reached a certain level, and we're going to finesse it a little bit more, is to give you purpose to go back out in the world and pick up a cause. So the bottom line of the camps is you're getting some fairly well-heeled people come in. They sit down with a singer-songwriter, Keith Mullins, who's a well-known decorated artist in the East Coast. And you tell and talk about your story with this incredible musician, and he puts it into tune. And he, like literally in my case, he wrote a song with me I could never have written on my own. Right?
Wow.
Because my focus would have been on this trauma that I went through, when his was on what I achieved because of the trauma. Right? And it was like,
He accelerated you.
yeah.
Can you give our viewers a little bit of insight on what music means to you as a veteran in healing?
Ooh.
Like just a little sample of how important it is.
When you breathe in a fresh spring day and then exhale, that's music.
Wow, that's great. I love that because music makes the world go round, and no matter your personal beliefs or your personal feelings, but when it comes to music, it seems to bring everybody together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So let's move over to Stavro. Now, Stavro, can you tell us about veteranhouse.ca and how your platform helps other veteran organizations?
Yes, well, we work with not-for-profits and for-profits. We help connect them with the right people, and we also mentor not-for-profits through Doug Smith, our chair of our NFP board. And we run the gambit from helping them set up their books, making sure we're in line as a charity, because we're responsible as a charity to the CRA to conduct our affairs appropriately. So making sure our financials are in line in that regard, and our activities as well.
So let's take an example. Let's just take an organization. Let's just say Soldiers On, right? But any veteran organization, they never heard of you guys, and they got, oh, hey, we heard about you guys. So they're calling you, and they want to find out more information how they could utilize you guys to their benefit. So take our viewers through. So I'm just cold calling you, and I'm from,
Yep.
I shouldn't say Soldiers On, whatever, right? And just say, okay, so hey, can you tell me more about your organization? Because I might have an opportunity to utilize your platform. So what would I have to do, Stavro?
Right. Well, Soldier On, that's very much up Stefan's alley as well.
Yes,
You know-
Soldier On is actually a bad example because they are a charity on their
Yeah, I
own.
was going to say that.
So I would look at something like someone who wants to start a program or start a non-for-profit, all right? Then this is where you would reach out. You can either go to our website and there's some stuff that you can download and it'll take you step by step through it, or you would reach out to us just through email, in which case then you'll be working with Steve and myself, and
There is no shortage of veterans from what we've seen that want to help. They have the passion to help, they have the capabilities.
they need the
They've,
training.
So if a company wanted to help XYZ veteran organization by writing them a $10,000 check, and they said, thank you very much, you have to get in touch with Veteran House, take us through that. So take us through that process.
Sure. So first off, we would have to establish what these funds would be used for.
Okay?
And of course, in this case, it would fall in line with our charitable purpose, whether it's training someone that's homeless, a homeless veteran, getting them off the street, getting them training, getting them employed along those lines. So from there, the donor would issue the donation to Veterans House
Okay?
designated to this program or organization. And they would receive a charitable receipt for us, which they can claim with their taxes.
And they would be able to, and everything's transparent, right? So they'd be able to see everything, right?
Absolutely.
And we keep nothing.
Keep nothing.
The full amount goes to what it was
Yeah.
built and gone to.
Our overhead is minuscule, 0.5%.
So what responsibility would XYZ platform have after the donation went through? Like what happens to so take me through that element. What responsibility do they have?
So this is where Stavros, he really is the most important person in the charity.
Bald-faced lie.
In any business, he's the most important.
But it's not, because the whole business model relies on financial accountability. That was the pitch when we went after our charity status. That's what they accepted us under, so much so that they wrote our mission statement for us. So that financial accountability really does fall onto him, because what we do is part of that process of partnering with a not-for-profit isn't just about training them for the business skills or helping develop a board or business financial plans. It's also about an online accountability. So Steve works with not-for-profits directly, setting up a shared set of books, right? And is able to monitor the transactional financial end of it. And that's what gives us that credibility, right? As a neutral third party, overseeing the transfer of funds, making sure it gets to a program, and that financial accountability can be shown to the person making the donations.
And I'm assuming the donor is very comfortable with that, right? Because
Happy.
they know exactly,
Very
exactly
happy.
where the money's going. It's all
Yes.
transparent, and right. That's super important to a donor, right? They want to make sure their every cent is being spent on what you told it would be spent on, right? That's great. Thank you for sharing. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Doug Smith and see how Doug is connected to the Veteran House and the veteran world. So stay tuned. You're watching the Today Show Toronto. I'm Jay Stoyan. We'll be right back.